Welcome to the Blade Files. What's up, guys? It's your boy Global Cosplay. This time around we're going to do the introduction filmed after the interview because I just wanted to make sure that the interview gets done. This time around and I've just announced it on my Facebook page too, so I mean it's not news anymore, but we just completed an interview with Eric the Smoke Moran. How we gained his insights on cosplay, how long he's been doing it. He's been doing it for a really long time. The millions of cosplays that he's done, as well as the millions of cosplayers that he's met, been inspired by, has inspired, all that sort of thing. So I mean, give us 3 to 4 hours, we'll have it up on my channel. You can check it out then. Boom.
I was in my workshop. I was working on armor. It's actually evening time for us here.
Right on.
Yeah, and basically, I've been working on some debut cosplays I'm doing next week for AC Boardwalk for Atlantic City. So I've been working on. So you'll be seeing the pictures in the next week, and you'll see why. You'll be like, wait a second, I don't remember he was telling me he was working on it. And I'm working for the first time ever. My wife is wearing an armor suit, so I'm getting her armor stuff together as well. So it's just like, a lot of stuff to do.
Cosplay life is a busy life indeed, Mr. Moran.
Oh yeah, and Ramos told me to tell you what's up.
Cool, yep. So, I guess I'll just do a very quick interview, and then, like, before I edit the video and upload it, I'll do another intro as well, but, like, we'll do a quick intro now, and we'll just jump straight into it, if that's okay with you.
Let's go. Yeah,
Awesome.
Let's go for it.
Okay, welcome back, guys, to the 9th interview for the Cutting Edge of NZ Cosplay, and this time we've got the superstar cosplayer, the good man, Eric Moran. Mr. Moran, thank you so much for being part of the Cutting Edge.
Thank you.
Okay, so like I said, we'll just get to the questions and we'll find out what you love about cosplay. So, how long have you been cosplaying and how did you get started?
I've been cosplaying before it was called cosplay. Basically, when it was called costuming or you're showing your fandom, I was going to like movies. I was going to Star Trek cons back in the late 80s when I was serving my time in the military. Any chance a movie premiere would come up or a movie would come up and I was on free leave or something, I would go to a movie premiere when Dick Tracy came out. So I've been cosplaying way before it was called cosplay. Like when I was a little kid, I was wearing costumes. It just carried on with me. Little elements of cosplay followed me. Like after I got out the Marine Corps, wearing a costume to me was like wearing a uniform. Wearing a superhero costume was like wearing a uniform. You're representing that character. You're representing something positive. When I was a United States Marine, wearing that uniform was something positive. It was something very heroic. It was something for people to look up to and aspire to be, like representing something that's important. It carried on to my wrestling career as a pro wrestler because, as you know, pro wrestlers are bigger than life characters, whether they're good guys or bad guys. So I threw a lot of those costume elements, even though some of them were subtle, some of them were really dramatic. I threw those costume elements in the ring, and again, being different characters. And from there, I started going to Comic-Cons, appearing as a pro wrestler, as my persona, The Smoke, which carried on to my cosplay name as well. Basically, it opened a lot of doors. I got my first offer to be in a comic book for Big City Comic Studios to play as myself, but as a 400-year-old vampire. And I got a chance to cosplay as myself, but as a vampire. So basically, it was always there. It just kind of caught up with me, and I got a chance to really explode on the forefront because I was never ashamed of hiding. I never hid my geekdom or my nerdom, whatever you want to call it. I had a strong fandom for everything comics, sci-fi, horror. Like Halloween was like my favorite time of the year, so I would get dressed up. And I would go all the way out. And then when I go to work, I would dress up. I would run across the street to my house, get dressed up, go back to work, and people are looking at me like, okay. So I've been cosplaying for a long time. I just have so much fun doing it. And it has so many different definitions and meanings to me, but I can easily break it down and explain it. But I have a lot of fun in the process.
Cool, very cool. What was it about cosplay that initially pulled you in?
Well, I won't say it was cosplay. basically being a fan of like when I would like see Star Wars or Superman or Batman even, when I grew up on shows like Captain Scarlet, Ultraman, Speed Racer, I wanted to be those characters. So I would get dressed up at home, put on a helmet and all, anything I could find. Like now you have a heavy access to costume stores. You have internet where you can go online. If we had this when we were kids, oh my God, the sky's the limit. So now I try to get every moment, every chance. So when I was younger, any little thing I could find that I can wear as a costume, it was just inspiring to me to be able to say, okay, I want to be that character. I want to be that character. Whether it was wearing a paper bag and everything. I mean, there's pictures dated way back when. I think one of the very first times I got to show my cosplay to the media and I enjoyed it was when Joe Quesada from Marvel Comics was debuting Captain America: The Truth by Kyle Baker. And we did a debut of the comic book here in Philadelphia, and I got to be Isaiah Bradley, Captain America, with Joe Quesada and all. So that was that was the first time I was able to really show my fandom. So this is before the Comic Cons got really big, when they were just small time, and I was already doing, before people really started breaking out and doing costumes. I was doing it like in the early 90s, 80s at the forefront. So again, it was something that I worked my way up and just expanded and expanded and expanded. So it's just like now it's just a way of life for me.
Indeed, it certainly shows. What are your main motivations behind the cosplays that you do?
A couple of motivations. One, my oldest brother, he was the one that motivated me. He was like my biggest hero growing up. He was the one that got me into becoming. He was a Marine. I was a Marine. He was like my hero. He inspired me to do the things I'm doing. He's the main reason why I did a lot of stuff. He's no longer with us, but he was the one that kind of pointed me in the right direction. I wanted to live up to like what he wanted out of me and wanted the best for me. The other factor that's a motivator for me and an inspiration to me is my wife, because not only it's cool to meet a woman that can not only cosplay with you, but that can get in the costumes with you, but understands, very supportive with me touring and doing all these appearances. She's never insecure. It's a great feeling to have someone that strong in your corner and then also cosplays with you. So for me, it's a thing where it's very inspirational. My friends, my fellow cosplayers, I'm talking about from cosplayers that are starting out to like the cosplayers that are out there like myself. They're my inspirations also, because the simple fact is it's not a matter of challenging or trying to be better than them. It's a matter of basically saying, wow, this guy or this girl motivated me to want to do this character because I love the way they do it. I remember I had a bunch of fellow cosplayers over my house, and we had a little powwow. We're putting together props like Michael Nightmage, Michael Batten, and I remember it was one of the times Michael Baton, Brian Gregory, and myself were in, and I'm working on my Spawn costume, and ideas are just coming in my head, and I'm like, okay, I could put this together, I put that together. So for me, being around my fellow cosplayers is an inspiration, and it motivates me even more and inspires me more to do more and better better cosplays. At the same time, when people see that and they're hitting me up on Facebook or any kind of social media or sending me love, it makes me want to say, okay, I'm gonna top what I did on the last show. I'm gonna top, and I want to really get people's attention. It's a very humbling thing when fans come over to you, whether it be in my wrestling career, my acting career, or my cosplay career. I'm very humble about it. So I try never to lose perspective, no matter how much I'm acknowledged for all my cosplays. I try to stay as grounded as possible. When that cosplayer comes over to me for the first time and asks me for advice, I always try to make a point to make that time to give them advice or give them pointers or praise them for their cosplays. Give an example. I did a show last year for Rocky Mountain Con, and I met this young man. Now, mind you, The Flash just came out. It was like a new show. Everybody was loving it. This young man, 14 years old, built his own Flash costume. I was so blown away. I took tons of pictures off of him, everything. And him and his dad were there, and I was telling him how much that was an inspiration to me. I end up doing 2 different variations so far a Professor Zoom off of that cosplayer alone because he motivated me. And that's what I mean. I get inspiration from everything around me, from cosplayers to my wife to my oldest brother. It's a major inspiration for me. So that's where I aspired at from. That all combines to doing what I do now.
You can definitely feel your passion for cosplay purely just by what you're saying. What is cosplay really about for you?
Cosplay for me is about getting together with like-minded people that think like I do, and like yourself, that basically are fans of cosplay, fans of fantasy, and not feeling like you're the oddball out, not feeling like you're that one person in a crowd of everybody that's to everyone else normal, and you got to be that one. Now it's a crowd of people like us that think like us, that have like-minded attitudes, that are doing it because we're all geeks, we're all fans, we're all basically thinking in the same wavelength. You'd be surprised when you meet a lot of cosplayers. I say a good 90% of them are like you or like me. And I have to say, like, I love my family, but my cosplaying friends are my extended family. It's as crazy as it may sound, because you can't pick your family. I mean, your immediate family, but you can pick the people that you want to be in your family. So these cosplayers, when I get together with them and all, it's like being around family. You feel yourself being yourself. You can be at home and feel like you're being yourself. You don't have to apologize for being something that normal society would look down on. But because now it's become part of society, cosplaying has become part of society. It's like normal. It's like normal now, of the normal. There was a time maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if I was to wear a costume just because, people will look at me weird, but I don't care because I did what I wanted to do because I love cosplay or costumes. So, like I said again, it's that energy that I feel around other cosplayers that when I'm in that cosplay community, I feel comfortable. I can feel like being myself. You hear it a lot from other cosplayers about how they had a rough upbringing, but when they did the cosplay, it made them express themselves in a way that they could never express themselves around their family or friends. So being in that kind of community, being around those kind of people, it shows not only your artistic side, but you get a chance to show a side of yourself that you couldn't show around your family or your friends. You could really be yourself around true people that respect what you do.
I fully understand you on that too. How much does your love of cosplay affect your life outside of it?
I say 2,000%. Even with my day job, like I work a 9 to 5 to balance out, because people always ask me that question. It basically, this is my life. Cosplay is my life. It just basically because I was already a fan of comic books and collecting action figures, video games. So basically, it was already who I was. It just enhanced it. Now I get to really be who I am and not apologize for it. And so basically, like even at my coworkers, they know what I'm into and all this. They call me the local superhero at work and all. Oh, he's gonna put on the cape and try to save the world. That's not an insult to me. That's a compliment to me. So basically, to be able to do all those things and not apologize and be able to have fun when I leave work, when I go to work, people see my desk. You know what my desk looks like in my office because you see all the little stuff up, pictures, my computer, and you see all my costumes and all. And then when we do Kids Day at my job, I have other cosplayers come up and inspire kids and all. So it's a part of my life. And then again, having a wife that's a cosplayer, being able to come home and not apologize for it and be able to just be myself, and my wife loves it. Hey, it goes a long way. Now we're trying to get our dog to be getting cosplay and getting costumes and her. So that's the other goal. That's what I'm trying to do with her next.
That's leveling up in cosplay for sure. How do your friends and family view your love of cosplay?
Well, let me just say this. My twin sister worked for Marvel Comics. So she was a colorist for Marvel, like back in the late 80s and all. With my mom, with my parents, they just like, okay, my mom was a seamstress. She was a fashion designer and all. So to be able, when I put together costumes and everything else and going to her for advice, it's like, and she sees all the work I do, she's now like, wow, I get it. And then her seeing me on TV on Heroes of Cosplay, doing films. She was already used to it because as of me being a pro wrestler for close to 20 years and being a pro wrestler and helping me put my costumes together, getting out in the ring and everything, basically they gotten used to it. Basically, a lot of my family knows I'm the entertainer in the family. So they know that anything that comes with me as an entertainer, like my aunt for the first time, she came to one of my Comic Cons last year for Philadelphia, Wizard World Philly last year. So she got a chance to see me on stage, roaring a crowd of over 3,000 people, getting them out to see as host for the costume contest. And seeing it for the first time, she couldn't stop talking about it, like, oh my God. And then seeing me on TV on Heroes of Cosplay, that really kind of said, wow, he's really tapped into something. He's really doing something. Seeing me with all these different, appearing with celebrities that they see on TV and everything else, it's kind of like, wow. The only time I really want to do eventually is take my mom to one of these Comic Cons so she can see it firsthand what it's like for me in a day in the life as not only as a cosplayer, as a celebrity, but just seeing what I do on my daily life inside that on the con room floor. So it's something. But my family has been supportive. Like they know it's different, but they're very supportive. Very supportive.
That's super cool. How much do you like to embody the character you cosplay, and is it all about becoming the character for the day for you, or is it just another fun character to be for the day?
It's a little bit of everything. One, it's about having fun doing the character. I cosplay characters that I love. Embodiment of the character. When I become that character, I become that character. Now, there's certain characters that have standard personalities. That goes without saying. But let's say I'm doing Predator. I'm going to be the Predator. I'm not going to be out of character. I'm going to be like, or if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a Chaos Marine from 40K Warhammer. I'm totally in character, the context and all, and I'm like, So it played the embodiment, being that character, being able to have fun with that character, all basically coincides with why I cosplay so many characters that I do, because this is showing the fans out there that I'm a fan of everything. I'm not just a fan of just anime or fantasy or sci-fi or horror. I'm a fan of anything that deals with pop culture, video games. I'm an avid fan of everything around me because this is stuff I grew up on and characters that I wanted to be because they're out of the norm. And let me just say this. In the way the world is today, the world can be a very dark place. With me doing the characters and being the characters I'm into, when I would read comic books and everything growing up, it took me away from all the crap that's going on in the world. It really put me in the perspective where when I see superheroes or supervillains, it reminded me of, right and wrong, good or bad, and not just areas of gray all the time. And when I'm doing those superheroes, it gives kids hope. And at the same token, too, it just puts me in a better place and not remind me that the world can be somewhere dark. When I do those characters, when a lot of these cosplayers do these inspirational superheroes, when they do the hospitals or when I do charitable funds, it's showing kids that the world's not that dark of a place. The world, you don't have to look at everything as a downside thing. Things can be really positive when they see these characters and they see a Spider-Man or a Captain America or a Batman or a Superman or a Wonder Woman, and they're seeing these characters come to life, coming over to them and shaking their hand or taking a picture with them. It gives them hope, and because I know it would give me hope. So that plays a part in it. That goes without saying. That's very big to me.
Excellent stuff. When you choose a character to cosplay, is it based on how much you just love the look of the character, or is it more a character you find you can relate to?
A little bit of both. For example, Spawn, I can relate to on certain levels. He had a passion for his wife. He made a deal, but at the same time, he was a Marine. He wanted to get out of the. And then when he became Spawn, he was so dark, but he was conflicted. And I love characters like that. Characters like Cyborg or characters like War Machine. I like those military style characters, but I also like those characters like the characters I do from my Star Trek stuff. When I do Torchwood, I love doing characters that have somewhat of military style background because I was military. I like characters that I can somewhat relate to, whether it's on a personal level, whether it's on a professional level. So, in some degree, to some extent, when I do certain characters, it shows a little bit of my personality doing those characters, whether they're little or a lot. Um, the characters that are bigger than life, the characters that um, are basically methodical. I love characters. I love doing characters like that because in certain levels I can relate to them on certain levels. People that know me personally, when they see me do a cosplay character, they're like, "Okay, you did it not because of the color of the skin or anything else. They did it because you are that character." Like people that know me personally will see that and they're like, "Okay, I knew you were going to do that because that's you. You know, I can see you doing that because that's I can see that personality in you." So when I do those characters, it's like, yeah, you see some of me in those characters, in one form or another.
Yeah, because like obviously all I know is what I've seen from the huge photo album that you've got a cosplay, but like Raymond Ramos even said that you've just got cosplay for days. I mean, there mustn't be too many characters that you haven't actually cosplayed.
And that's the thing. I like challenges. I like being able to do the characters that you wouldn't expect me to do. But then again, at the same time, I don't like doing typical characters all the time. Like the one of the questions because I'm multiracial, I can do an array of different characters, and I don't apologize about the characters I do. I never had anybody come up to me and say you can't do that character, other than I get wow you do a good Batman or you do a good Superman or you do a good this. I do it because I'm a fan of it, and at the same token too, it's like when I do those characters, it's one of those kind of things that when you see them and I'm like, okay, I can picture myself walking down the street. It could be some of the funniest characters, the most made up character, and I get in that character and I'm having fun. It's just to me, there's so many characters out there you can do, and it's one of those kind of things that I'm having fun. And then now it's surreal because I'm in the comic books now, and I'm also like a DC comic book character. So not only am I being all these characters, but now I get to cosplay as myself from a comic book or a couple comic books I'm in, different comic books. So it is kind of like wow, whoever thought I would be immortalized? So it is surreal. It's a trip and a half. I never thought in a million years that it would happen to me.
Indeed, indeed. I think, like, I imagine obviously you've got a ton of experience doing cosplay now, but are there certain websites you use for advice, etc., when you start a new cosplay, or do you just pick a project and get to work with your own skill set?
Well, like I try to school this to other cosplayers. If you're going to if you're going to cosplay a character, first off, do your research. Know the character that you're doing. Nothing worse in the world is wearing a costume that you like, but have no idea who you're doing, or have even the slightest idea what the character's about. When I do my research on characters, if I'm going to do that character, I'm either going to do it to almost to the extent of looking like the character from the books, or in some cases, because there might be different variations, I might do that one character that everybody's used to seeing everybody else cosplaying, and I'm like, okay, I want to set it one step up and do something that's against the grain. That no one they know the story, but they never seen a variation of what I've done. Like for example, I've done 5 to 6 variations of Batman, and the characters I do, I try to step it up, step it up, step it up. And there's great other cosplayers that do. One cosplayer I'm thinking about right now, Bob Keffer, he does a lot of different variations of Batman. For me, when I do a Batman character, it's because this particular Batman character I like for a lot of different reasons. But I want to try to level it up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be that one that sets it off for inspiring other people to follow suit to do that same kind of character and do their variation of it. So it's when you're doing your research, do the research and know what kind of character you're doing. Have fun doing it. Never apologize for doing the character. And if someone says, "Oh, you didn't do this right, or you didn't wear the glove right," oh, who cares? Do you enjoy wearing it? Do you have fun wearing it? Then that's all that should matter. The one thing I will say as a cosplayer, if you want to cosplay, in order to be a cosplayer, you have to, one, not bring any drama, and two, have fun. If you can do those two things, you're a cosplayer. That means anyone can do it.
It's definitely seeming to be a common theme in the answers I'm getting around that question. What techniques do you use build-wise, and which do you favour? Like, do you work mostly with foam, or you prefer to sew, or a mix of them?
Well, because I collaborate with a lot of different people, like Nightmare Armor Studios, Snake Pit Studios, Johnny B. Menendez's cosplays, Brennan Londo, Anthony Lee. I collaborate with a lot of great prop makers and what have you. And then I expand on that from their stuff they send me, and then I expand on it, and I take it to the next level. I've worked with resin. Resin sometimes can take a toll on your body because it's heavy. It's like, for me, it's like wearing football equipment. Because I'm adapted to wearing equipment a lot of times when I was in Marines, I've gotten used to it. But I want to be able to cosplay smarter without being uncomfortable cosplaying. So now I refer to doing Evafoam a lot. Evafoam is, for me, now not for everyone, but for me, it's a lot easier. It's just as durable, but you're able to wear it and get through the day and have fun. And you can wear an Evafoam costume all day. And, you know, for those people that are tightening up their skills like myself, you can make it look more believable, make it look more metallic. Some people tend to say, well, I'd rather go with Warbler or rather go with this. It's all about your preference of what makes you comfortable. For me, it's Evafoam. So the steps I take, you know, materials I use, some of the places in the U.S., we call it Home Depot or Lowe's. That's going to be your toy store. That's my toy store now. It used to be Toys R Us. Now my toy store is Home Depot, Michael's, AC Moore, because I'm picking up materials constantly, bringing home hot glue sticks and all this stuff and paints. I must have tubs and tubs of spray paint. And right now, this weekend, I'm working on like 3 to 4 cosplays. And all through my house, you can smell the fumes of paint. Even though I'm working outside my backyard, I'm painting every 5 minutes. And I know my neighbors got to be like, oh my God. But I mean, this is what I do. I'm a person that loves to do this stuff. So when it's all over and I'm like sitting back like, wow, I did this. Whoa, holy crap. And like I said again, like I have so much fun doing it. So I tell anyone, if they want to know what my easy secret is as far as cosplaying, you cosplay what makes you feel comfortable. If you like Warbler, wear Warbler. If you like resin, wear resin. Like Evafoam, definitely wear Evafoam. But it's what makes you comfortable. You know, it's what gets you through the day and everything else. So, like I said again, it's basically a choice, a matter of choice.
Cool, that's super cool. Are you more a fan of the huge foam armor builds that we're seeing nowadays, like the Gundam and the mech cosplays, or the more sort of elegant sewn cosplays that like Yaya and people do?
I'm more. I have to say, I love the foam because I've seen some great cosplayers, like my buddy Sean Shaw, for example. He works with a lot of foam. Terry McGinnis, who does a lot of foam stuff, and their work is amazing. When you're looking at it, it's hard to believe. My buddy Paul from Ironworks Studios. I mean, seriously, their stuff, when you see it, you're thinking, is that real metal? Is that? And it's all from Evafoam. So, Mike Hegley is another one. When we built our Transformers, our Megatron and Optimus Prime. So, what I can tell you is, my personal preference would be Eva. Now, for someone like Yaya who pushes Warbler or I forgot what the other one, Warbler, and there was some other material. That's all well and good. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, my preference is foam because, again, not only does it look good and not only can you move around easily, but you get to lose weight when you're wearing it throughout the day. I guarantee you, every time I wear a foam costume, I lose at least 10 pounds. 10 pounds. Hold on one second. I got to, hold on one second.
No worries.
Hey, what's up, Juan? I'm being interviewed right now. I'm on Skype. Can I call you back after I'm interviewed? Yeah, you're on live right now with me. So, okay. Okie dokie. Bye. Sorry about that.
No worries. What is your favorite cosplay to date?
Woo! God,
Fabulous,
that's a
huh?
good question. All right. Well, first of all, that's a good question because I always get asked, what is your favorite cosplay? And I'm like, oh, that's not fair. Because, you know, I got over 300 costumes and I'm like, to date, one of the costumes that stand out with me is always going to be Spawn. Like me and Michael Nightmage, we do our share of Spawn. So people always hard to tell. Well, is that Nightmage or is that Smoke? Nightmage takes it on another level because he does another variation of Spawn. From both me and Mike Nightmage that have done Spawn, when Tom McFarlane, when I first did Spawn the first time, and Michael Nightmage had sent me a text and said, "Oh, I need to let you know," and he did his Spawn. His Spawn was amazing. I remember Tom McFarlane reached out to me the first time when I debuted Spawn, and he asked, "Can you put it on Twitter?" That to me was an honor. But to do Spawn, Spawn is one of those characters that stand out with me. Optimus Prime is another one that really stands out with me because the Optimus Prime is 8 foot tall. Again, that's one of those costumes that stand out with me. Two other ones, or actually, I have three other ones that I give really a lot of recognition to. Of course, Iron Man 2.0 / War Machine goes without saying that made my mark. Because of the simple fact is, it just suits me, and everybody that sees me knows I'm out of all the War Machines, I'm the one that gets the most notoriety for it. Black Adam, because Black Adam, again, another character that I did before Dwayne Johnson decided to do Black Adam and get casted. I was the one who did it first, and Dwayne has nothing on me on that because the simple fact that not only that, but I did my very first fan film as Black Adam. And I say the other one that always, again, I have my top tier cosplay that stand out with me is Batman. Every variation I've done of Batman. Because of the simple fact is that people love seeing me in the Batman costume, and I've gotten a lot of praise for it. So, like I said again, and then one honorable mention is my Predator suit because, again, that's a labor of love. Alien FX helped put it together, Snakefoot Studios, but again, it's a labor of love. It's one of those kind of things that I really put into. And then my most current favorite one also is my Ultimate Black Ranger. Basically, Aaron Chirac from Superhero Beatdown, Jason David Frank, who did the Green Ranger, White Ranger, they basically designed the suit for the Superhero Beatdown series. With permission from Aaron, Snakefoot Studios made me the Black Ranger suit, and then with help from the Philadelphia Power Rangers, who's my Philly group for Philadelphia Power Rangers, we basically built an original Black Ranger suit that got praised by Walter Jones from the original Power Rangers, including the whole entire cast. We did a group shot together. So those are some of my top favorite cosplays because I don't have one. I have to explain why I have these like multiple cosplays that I love. But those are my ones that stand out of all my cosplays. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be debuting 3 new cosplays next week in the AC Boardwalk. So I say 2 of them are going to be, without a doubt, 2 of my talked about and 2 of my favorite cosplays that I love to do. That you guys are going to be like, holy crap, that is so you. So trust me, when you see what I'm doing next, you're going to be like, totally floored.
Totally sure that and definitely looking forward to it. What would you call essential tools for building, as well as, say, dream tools that not everyone does or can have, but if you could have, would certainly help your builds in a huge way?
Okay, a couple of the tools I recommend. Of course, hot glue gun. The Dremel kit. One thing I will say about Dremel kit, you're going to need at least 2 different variations. You have the Dremel kit that basically is your standard Dremel, and then there's this Dremel kit that basically cuts lines and cuts angles. It doesn't do harm on your fingers or anything, but it basically makes your job easy when you're cutting because it basically cuts edges. When you're working with thick foam, it cuts your edges to a sharp point. You can change the heads and put a sander on there, and it sands. Heat gun. Heat guns are very important. You want to use, it's almost like a pizza cutter. It's like a cutter. Again, that's something else that you use to cut angles or shapes, to curve. Zap-A-Gap, which you can only order online, like Amazon and all. Zap-A-Gap, which Ramos had put me down with. This Zap-A-Gap is sturdy. It's the sturdiest glue I've ever dealt with, and it holds. Once it locks on, it locks. Other materials I recommend, cutting board, special cutting board with measurements. Those are very important. Nowadays, it's become a new thing now and I may be ordering one in the next year or so. 3D printer. 3D printers have become like a new the norm. The good thing about 3D printers are they're becoming less expensive. So you can buy one at $600, $700, a really good one, for parts that may be technically hard to make that you can basically make with a 3D printer. Let's see, other materials I recommend. Oh, elastic and if you can get access to a material store, lots and lots and lots and lots of Velcro, both the heavy duty Velcro with the sticky back as well as no sticky back. Because trust me when I say this, Velcro goes a long way. Also, you want to get along with Velcro, you want to have elastic, black elastic. Also, is another good factor, and they're like fasteners, these snap fasteners, because a lot of cosplayers use it, and it basically answers a lot of problems. Right now, I'm trying to decide on this new cosplay I'm doing whether or not to use fasteners or Velcro or elastic. So it's like, oh my God, which side am I going to go with? So these are little things that I highly recommend to a lot of cosplayers to use.
It's cool because I actually just yesterday I went and bought a lot of things that you just mentioned, so I'm obviously on the right track according to the smoke.
There's this new material. I don't know what it's called, but it's a material that someone turned me on to. Basically, they come in little beads and it's in a container. What you do is you put it in warm water. You take like a spoonful, put it in warm water, and then you can form. Once it clears, you can take it out the warm water. You can form it into what you want. It's almost like Warbler. It forms it and hardens. You can hit it with a hammer. It doesn't go nowhere. The beauty about it is you can put it back in the hot water. It basically clears up again, and you can form it into anything you want. That is one of the best materials I've seen so far, and I've already used it on my Power Ranger helmet. So when I close it, it just closes together. Really good. I highly recommend.
Indeed, I actually have some sample packs of that. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm super excited about doing it.
Yes.
How do you deal with the cosplay build blues when you just can't seem to get anything going?
Okay, well with that, it's like you get a block, like you have it's like a block. You're trying to work on something. You're like, God darn, you get stopped. And I have a lot of ideas of cosplays I want to do. There's stuff I'm sitting in my basement right now that, like, it's not. I won't say it's the blues. It's just a matter of, okay, I got this costume. Like, it might be one part on that costume that's stopping me from doing anything else with the costume. For example, I have a costume. I won't say who it is, but I have a particular costume from a video game. I got the costume, I got the helmet, but the helmet is not fitting me right. I'm right now reaching out to another designer who can make the actual helmet that will fit me right, so it will make the costume look better. I'll probably debut that next year. But right now, sitting on ice. I have a costume right now that I'm like, I want to do getting ready for a major film that's coming out later this year. Let's just say this. You and I look like a particular character that, and again, I'll probably send you some pictures down the road and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll be like, oh yeah, definitely. But I won't call them stumbling blocks or mental block. It's cosplay block. And it's sitting there just like, I want to do this cosplay so bad, but certain things are stopping me, and I need to find the right materials or the right parts to make it work. I'm right now. I had recently this new cosplay I'm debuting this next weekend. I did all this research, and I found something that I needed for this costume. I had to pay a lot of money to get it, but now that I have it, it's like, oh my God, it's the answer to all my problems. I cannot wait to wear it because now everything is coming together. When you see this costume come together, you're going to be like, holy crap. Oh my God, he did it right. So again, if you have those stumbling blocks, look into where you can find things that you may need to get the parts to move. Sometimes we get into those moments where we have a cosplay that we can't move forward on because we're missing something to make it come together. My suggestion, put it aside. You don't have to be desperate to do it right away. Put it aside, let it sit for a while. The one thing that we all get caught up on sometimes are doing cosplays because of certain movies coming out and everything else. I'm all for that, but if you don't have it ready in time, it's not going to be the end of the world. You know, if you're not the first kid on the block to wear a Star-Lord costume. It's not going to be in the day because there's going to be 20 other Star-Lord cosplayers out there. So then you take that cosplay of Star-Lord and you do something else to redefine what Star-Lord means to you, and you take it to the next level so you can stand out from all those other Star-Lord cosplayers. Be different. There's nothing wrong being uniquely different. If you're in a room of, say, same cosplayers that are doing the same outfit, okay, that's great. I love that. But at the same time, why not do something different that while all these other cosplayers look great, you could do something to take it that further up to the next level and still be in that same realm, but you did something that stood out differently. For example, I did a Black Power Ranger last year and merged it with Mass Effect. So I did a Mass Effect Black Ranger armor suit. No one else had. It stood out differently, and everybody praised it. So those will give you some ideas of what I mean by doing something that's unique.
Cool, yeah, because I'm definitely a fan of variants as much as I am of movie replica cosplay. So,
Exactly.
what tips do you have for budding cosplayers that are just beginning their journey into costuming?
Don't a couple things. Don't get discouraged if someone is telling you, "Oh, well, you can't do this. You can't." First off, don't listen to anybody. Listen what's inside of you. Listen what's in your head. Listen what's your heart. Be around positive people that are in the same realm in the cosplay world that are going to inspire you, help you, guide you, and give you pointers. Try not to be around people that look down on you and all that because you're never going to get things accomplished. There are more cosplayers coming out now because they find an inspiration where people like myself and you that want to do costumes because they see that we're not ashamed no matter how old we are, how big we are, how short we are. Never discourage yourself. Cosplay is colorblind. So it doesn't matter what age, gender, handicap. It doesn't matter. Just if you love a character, do the character because you love it. Don't let anyone discourage you. Do it. Ask questions. YouTube is a very big, helpful hint for when you want to look up costumes, how to make stuff. Go on YouTube. Ask questions. You can locate me on Facebook. Ask me questions. I'll be more than happy. If you're looking for the right person to go to, I can point you in the right direction. There are a lot of costume stores and a lot of websites out there that are dedicated to cosplay. Do your research. Go on Google. Go on Yahoo. Type up keywords that will help you find what you're looking for as a cosplayer. Do your research on being that character. So when you're being interviewed out on the showroom floor, you know what you're talking about because you believe in that character and you're having fun with that character. So those are some of the pointers I would give to cosplayers.
Excellent stuff. Who or what are your greatest inspirations locally as well as abroad?
Wow, I have a lot of inspirations as far as comic book artists, cosplayers. There's so many to mention. I'll say this much: there are people that inspired me, cosplayers that inspired me, like the Michael Knight Majors, like Navi. Navi is another cosplayer. Belcher. You have cosplayers like Bren Londo, Anthony Lee, Bree Chief. Like for example, this young lady, she's a great cosplayer. Phoebe, she basically did this Wonder Woman. She's heavy set, but she does this Wonder Woman costume that was so inspirational. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman herself, complimented her on her costume. I have so many, Sean Cho, Kurt Strauss, yourself included. Ramos is another one. I can name them until the cows come home. Mike Hegley. It's just so many. Johnny Menendez, that's another great cosplayer. Connie, who is a great cosplayer when it comes to mechs. I have a lot of favorite cosplayers. Mike Baton. There's so many cosplayers out there that do such great work. And then the artists like George Perez that basically encourage other cosplayers, that like inspire other cosplayers to basically go out there and have fun. My buddy Chris Cross, Joe Illich. You have a lot of cosplayers. You have a lot of comic book artists, Bob Layton. A lot of these cosplayers and artists, comic book artists that are inspirational to me. John Byrne is one of my inspirations growing up. I loved his characters. I loved his comic books. It basically wanted me. I wanted to be those superheroes when I would see his artwork. Like I said again, it's just Jim Steranko is another one that again is inspiration to me. I can name them all day until the cows come home. My wife, being a female cosplayer, my wife is another influential influence to me. Christopher Cho, Dale Harvey, who is a big guy, my buddy Jonathan. There are a lot of cosplayers out there that I can name all day long, and you're like sitting there like, what? Oh my God, wow, wow. And I'm looking around and I'm saying to myself, you know, Des Taylor's another one, a great British artist and all. And like I said again, I love trying to give many people shout outs. My homegirl Ivy Turner, aka Ivy Doom Kitty. Ivy's like my female Rolly right there. That is my partner in crime. She's another one that basically inspires a lot of cosplayers out there to really strive. Female cosplayers, male cosplayers. So, like I said again, there are a lot of cosplayers out there, and if I didn't give you a shout out, just know all you cosplayers out there are my inspiration. You guys are my heroes. That's why I do what I do. So, my boy Jesse, my buddy Brian Gregory, I can name until the cows come home. Like I said again, if you have the right attitude, you're coming on the showroom floor, you're doing your thing. That's all what it's all about. That's all what it's about.
Excellent stuff. I'm sure every cosplayer is going to love to hear that answer. Given your local, or even obviously for you, out-of-state con is a typical event for cosplaying, is it the main reason you attend a convention, or like do you like the panels and special guests? Which you're probably a special guest most of the time anyway, or is it just about catching up with friends for you?
It's a little bit of all that. A little bit of all that. Like I love going to cons. Like this will be one of the few times. Like this weekend, I'm going to. I normally am a featured guest for Wizard World, but because I'm filming tomorrow in New York, I'm in a film. And I'm doing all these other little things. I'm going to go to Wizard World for the first time at a con in a long while, where I'm going in civilian attire and to see my friends and all that stuff. And it's cool because, again, I'm like one of the most respected cosplayers out there because I try my best to stay grounded. I just want to be able to see my friends. So I love going as a guest. It's a big honor to be a guest for a Comic-Con. I try to make sure I give praise to all the cosplayers, all the con attendees, special guests and all. It's a real pleasure when you're meeting fellow celebrities that appreciate your work and stuff. Not only because of my time on Heroes of Cosplay, but in the films I've done, the short films I've done, or the work I've done. It's a compliment when people praise your work and stuff like that. It's really something. So to be able to be out there like that, to be able to go to these cons and just have fun. I have so much fun. It's like a holiday every time I go to a con.
It's a great thing. What was the first con you went to, as well as your favorite con to date?
Well, okay, the first con I went to, I was going to a lot of cons, so I would say the Star Trek Creations, uh, uh, Star Trek cons I would go to way back in the day. We're talking about early '80s, mid '80s. I was going with Star Trek Next Generation. I was going as Worf, and I was dressed like as he was my favorite character in Star Trek. So my favorite cons of to date, because I've done touring with Wizard World, it was a lot of fun being on the road, meeting great people. It's just like cosplay. Every con I've done is like wearing a new costume, depending on which costume I like. Rocky Mountain Con was another con that I really enjoyed. Great Philly Con, great Philadelphia Comic Con, I really enjoyed. RetroCon, it's a fan favorite of mine. It's become a tradition every year. I try to do RetroCon. I try to put any other con that I get invited to make sure I'm there for RetroCon because, again, it's close to home. I get to see a lot of my friends, and it's retro stuff. I mean, what more could you want? I don't mind. Let me just say this. When it comes to New York Comic Con, San Diego Con, while I love the whole spectrum of a lot of great cosplayers there, I don't care for the tightness of those kind of cons where it's so crowded you can't enjoy yourself because you're like this. Cons like Rocky Mountain, shows like Wizard World, shows like AC Boardwalk Con that's coming up next week. I love those cons. Great Philadelphia Comic Con, RetroCon, because they're a little bit more personal because they don't. While they may be packed with a lot of great stars, they're not packed as far as floor where you can't get around. You actually have room. You actually have space, and those are the kind of cons I like. Again, that's not knocking New York Comic Con or San Diego Con. Most of the time when I go to the cons nowadays, I'm a guest. I'm on the receiving end. Where before I used to be the fan, I used to be the spectator. So it's a lot different for me now. Where I go to a con as a guest, as a featured guest, or doing a panel. So it's a lot different. Being able to do the panels at the cons, for example, I have a lot of fun because I get to meet fans and people that have come to see the work we do. It's an honor and it's a blessing at the same time. So, and I try to inspire other people to want to do what we do. So, like I said again, overall, I don't have a particular favorite con, because I work with a lot of great promoters and for Comic Cons, but I just don't care to be face in the crowd for, say, New York Comic Con because, again, I'm not big about being in tight spaces where I can't really show off my cosplay, let alone I want to be able to get to one corner of the room to the next. If I'm wearing a really great costume, while it's humbling and I never turn away anyone for taking pictures, if I'm wearing an Iron Man costume and I'm trying to walk from this point to this point right here at the end of the screen, and it takes me over 2 hours to get there, and while one, it's great because you're getting all this exposure. Two, you're never going to get on the show floor. And then eventually you have to say to someone, okay, I need a break for a minute. You got to give me a minute, which I hate to do. So when it's personal and it's open, you get those pictures and you have those moments, but then you get to walk around and you get to pose with some of the people that can't get on the floor, that can't walk the floor, the artists and all. You get to pose with them and all that and show your appreciation of them. So I would say that goes a long way. That goes a long way.
Okay. I may get into trouble for asking you this, but given New Zealand's just got its first official Comic Con, is there any chance that we may see the smoke in New Zealand?
You never know. I mean, hey, the bottom line is I'm always open. I do have a passport, so I'm always open to coming somewhere new. I don't see where that would get you in trouble because I'm like this. Hey, if an opportunity presents itself, if a promoter says, hey, we love your work, we want to fly you out and all, totally for it. Totally for it. I would totally get out of the States to come to New Zealand. And besides that, I'd be talking the hell out of you guys and saying, oh my God, I'm going to New Zealand. I would just have to figure out what costumes to bring because I really want to bring something really good for you guys to be like, holy crap. And also do a great panel for you guys out there, showing you the stuff we do, talking to the fans, interacting with the fans because it would be an honor. I mean, I would love if an opportunity presents itself. You can best believe I would do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
That would be so great. What do you have? Like, what tips do you have for attending a con in cosplay? Like prep-wise, lasting a day, good photo etiquette, that sort of thing.
Good photo etiquette. Okay, if you're going and you know you're going to get pictures, make sure for guys, make sure you have a cup and a cup that works. To a point where you look like a Ken doll. That's first off. Make sure you're hydrated because you may be in a position where you're going to be holding a pose and doing poses in one place for a good while. Making sure that everyone gets a good picture. In my case, the way I do it, if I have a group of photographers and I'm doing a picture, I'm like, okay, everybody, we're going to do this in the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Click, 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 click. Okay, we're going to do another pose. 1, 2. So everyone gets their photos in. No one is walking in front of them and all that. If I'm in a picture, let's say I'm in a group of people, and let's say we have a cosplayer from Game of Thrones, and they want to get Khaleesi, and she has her little dragon, and I'm wearing something totally different that has nothing to do with Khaleesi, and they want to get a picture of her. I'm going to stand off to the side to make sure she gets her picture, unless the photographer says I want to get both of you. Again, that's the etiquette thing. That's when you let them get their pictures. Making sure photographers are being respectful to the female cosplayers, making sure they're not trying to get butt shot, trying to, sneak in a shot and all that stuff. Making sure they're respectable and the fans, most importantly, are respectable. So, and the big eye at me, yeah, you're going to be respectable with me. Goes without saying.
Indeed, indeed. Best and worst experiences at a con?
I barely ever have any, and that's a good thing. Knock on wood. Wait, hold on. Knock on wood. I haven't had really any bad experiences. As far as maybe like some of my Velcro falling off or hot glue starts to fall, like bad experiences like that. I will say this: one time when I did my War Machine, one of the first times, little kid, and I don't know if they I think they meant it accidentally, came up and touched my helmet and moved it. Again, that goes with etiquette. Ask before you touch. That's the only thing I have a thing about it. I won't say it was a horrible experience, but when they did it, it adjusted my whole helmet, and I had to readjust it and all. But I barely ever have them. Great Comic-Con moments is being able to take cosplay pictures with a great amount of people. I'm the kind of cosplayer that if you're doing a picture with me and I'm doing a picture with you, then I see another cosplayer walk over. Get over here in this picture. This is me. You, come over here. Yes, you. Before you know it, the crowd gets bigger and bigger. If you look at the Great Philly Con and you look at my album, you'll notice that you'll see a couple pictures of me with cosplayers. It gets bigger, bigger, bigger. I like bringing all the cosplayers in because everybody needs to get a chance to be in the spotlight.
That's cool. That's awesome. Obviously, anyone familiar with Heroes of Cosplay knows you've emceed a lot of cosplay competitions at big cons. Did this come about because of your standing in the cosplay community or because of your celebrity status previous through your wrestling history?
I would say a little bit of all. I did get approached a while back to be on Heroes of Cosplay, and I'm not going to pull any punches on this. I remember telling the producers originally when I got approached that I would have to be real on the show. As you well know, the first season was not so heavily inclined to pushing male cosplayers, let alone minorities, and I was not too supportive of Heroes of Cosplay when it first came out. The producers kind of turned things around where they started having male cosplayers. Miggy being one of the cosplayers, great cosplayer, loved him to death. But they started you had great cosplayers on the show. Don't get me wrong, Yaya and all of them were great, but I felt that it should have been more diverse, and that's what they started doing. When I got approached, I said I had to be myself on the show. I don't have drama when it comes up. Oh my God, I don't have this ready. What am I going to do? I didn't believe in none of that. And so the producers were going to get back with me. I got asked to host the cosplay contest on 3 to 4 episodes of Heroes of Cosplay, where I got to be myself, and I got to be what the smoke is all about, which is a good MC that knows how to get the crowd going, get them riled up. If you look at the episode when I'm in New Orleans and the crowd is going nuts, and you hear some of the guys on the show like, oh my God, and I'm getting the crowd pumped up when I'm introducing Ivy, Jason David Frank, Ryan Fry, Yaya Han. I'm doing it from the Smoke's perspective of what he does as a Smoke. So that gave me free range to be myself on the show, which I had a lot of fun. The producers, the crew, everybody was great on the show. Again, it was a great experience. I mean, that's the one thing I will say. You hear a lot of rumors about this, that, and the other with Heroes of Cosplay. They had some good things and bad things about it. But the good thing about it was when it came to the contest, for all intents and purposes, the ones I was on were real. They were 100%. What you saw is what you got on the show. The judges were real. They were basically, Ivy and them were like, no, we're going to like this, we're going to like that. And so at the end of the day, they kept it real. Ivy kept it real. Ryan Fry kept it real. Jason David Frank kept it real. Yaya expressed her views of how she kept it real on the show. So it was true to form when it came to contest, at least from my perspective. I had a lot of fun. I know at one point there was a fan out there that wrote a petition to try to get me to come back on the show for another season if they ever got picked up. But if to be asked if I was to ever want to do that show again, yeah, I would. But again, I would have to be myself. For the people that know me in the cosplay community, know how I am as a person. So I could not fake a funk and saying, oh yes, I have a cosplay that took only a day to do, and yeah, blah 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 blah. No. I'm gonna be myself on the show because people need to see that this is real life cosplay. This is not fake cosplay. This is real cosplay. So again, while you had great cosplayers on that show, some of them were friends of mine. They were great cosplayers. You basically had to bring your A game on that show, and all of us did. Every one of us did. So again, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely looked like there was some amazing stuff on there. Even though you've kind of answered, I'm going to ask it anyway. Because we have some total fans of the show in New Zealand who would love to know, how was your experience with Heroes of Cosplay, and are we likely to see any further seasons?
If Sci-Fi decides to pick it up again and they want me to come back on, of course. My experience on there was great. Because again, I got to be myself on there, and I get to have a lot of fun. I get to be in suits and dressing up differently, and then I got to be in costume with Yaya hosting with Yaha. I'm sorry, hosting with Yaha Han, co-hosting with her, and I got to be in one of my costumes and all. So that was, of course, that was legendary. It was a lot of fun for me and all, and people will always remember that, and they will always remember me because of that. Among everything else I've done, it's like one of those memorable moments for me.
Indeed. You've also been made the first cosplayer to become a DC comic character as Freight Train, as well as a
Yes.
leading character for Big City Comic Studios. Can you tell us more about how this happened and how you feel about being a comic book character?
Okay, first off, Big City Comics, Jeffrey Kaufman, got to give him a big shout out, a big thank you. Big City Comic Studios. Jeffrey, I met doing a Wizard World show back in 08, 09. I was appearing as the Smoke, as the pro wrestler the Smoke. Jeffrey and I met, and Jeffrey was doing this comic book called Tempest. And he and I started talking, and he was like, how would you feel about being in the comic book and you get to play it yourself, but you're a 400-year-old vampire? Yes. Hell yes. And so basically, with the amazing art from Chris Cross, Jeffrey Kaufman's writing, he put together a mini series called Tainted, where I was the main character of the story that basically was not a bad guy, was not a good guy, just walked the cusp. And basically, unfortunately, at the time the book came out, we did this incredible press for Dragon Con. I had these limited edition books, and I still have some. Limited edition books where it featured me and everything else. Unfortunately, they had to put the book on the shelf because of reasons I don't know all the details, but they had to put it on the shelf. Well, I just found out that later, probably around San Diego Comic-Con in July, they're finally bringing the book out. They're finally bringing the graphic novel out, and so I get to put out the book and be able to sign the book and everything, but I'm going to be the main character in the book. So again, I'm real excited, and to be a part of that was just like to be immortalized. I'm really grateful to Jeffrey because of that. Now, with that being said, fast forward to 2014. I'm an avid DC fan, Marvel fan, but I do a lot of DC characters. Every time I would go to a show, I'd always bump into Dan DiDio, one of the heads of DC. So I always tell him, I'm doing this character, friends with him. So I sent him a picture of Black Adam, 52 Black Adam, wishing him a happy holiday. And we always joked about Freight Train. When he bought Freight Train to the Outsiders, I always thanked him and said, well, thank you for making a character that kind of looks like me and all. And he's like, well, you were the inspiration for the character. Well, later on, Dan says, around 2014, he says, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and give you a Christmas gift. You are now officially a DC comic book character. You are now Freight Train, and we're going to go in and we're going to change his persona, his name, and everything else. So now when you go on Wikipedia or type out Eric the Smoke Moran, a.k.a. Freight Train, you'll see it on the DC comic database that Freight Train's name is from Cecil to Eric Moran. So, again, totally blown away and everything else. I plan on doing a fan film based on Freight Train later this year. I'm getting back in training so I can do a Freight Train fan film short just because of DC, and thanking DC and Dan for allowing me to have this honor to be a DC comic character. So again, that speaks in volumes. What can you say about that but to be totally honored by that,
Indeed, it sounds like a total dream come true.
It is. It truly is.
Obviously, a physique as grand as yours lends itself massively to stage presence at cons. Does it factor into any kind of cosplay you've done, or do you not believe size plays an issue on what people should want to cosplay?
Exactly. Size should not matter what cosplay you want to do, as long as you want to do it. One of my other inspirations, he's a new friend of mine, and he's really good, Titan Cosplay. Titan Cosplay, I plan on teaming up with you down the road because, like us big guys got to stick together, I love his cosplays. Titan Cosplay, again, an amazing cosplayer. For big guys like us, he's an inspiration to a lot of big guys. Night Mage is another person that, again, a big guy like me, he's a big guy. We both show the world that not only as minorities, but as cosplayers, we can do any character we want. and pull it off in a great way. So again, I never had to apologize for my size and all. Now, granted, sometimes I'm a little conscious and like making sure that if I'm going to do a character, I better look right in the costume. But I'm not always going to be muscle bound and all. I can't always do that. Thank God for sub dye, because sub dye helps a lot. It makes all the difference in the world. Thank you for whoever created sub dye, because you're my hero. So yes, I never had to apologize because of my size. Never. And I never will.
I'm sure, again, a lot of cosplayers are going to love hearing that because, it's not an unheard of problem.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the world of cosplay as it is today, given you've been doing it for so long in the States? Have you seen a dramatic change in the face of the cosplay world, or is it simply grown in popularity and gained better venues?
It's growing. It's growing. It's not going to die out no time soon. It's growing because this has been like people that are cosplayers that's stuck in the closet. The closet has been building and building. Now the closet is slammed open and all these cosplayers are coming out. People that you never thought wanted to get in costume is actually now being able to do that because they're like, wow, I'm not the only one. I can actually get in costume. I only tell people if you're going to be a cosplayer, if you're going to be in a costume, don't do it because you want to get notoriety. Don't do it because you think it's going to make you famous. Don't do it because you think it's going to get you a part in the movie. Do it because you love the cosplay. Do it because you're a fan. I look down upon those people that want to just do a costume because they want to try to be hip like everyone else. Do a costume because you love the cosplay. Because you love. Let me give you an example. You have a whole bunch of football fans, and you have this one person that not a football fan, but they want to act like they're a football fan, so they're going to be like, yeah, go, and they'll have no idea what you're doing because they want to be in. If you do cosplay, do it because you really, truly love it. Do it because you don't have a hidden agenda behind it. Do it because you love cosplay. Plain and simple.
Indeed, indeed. You also work with inner city youth at charity events. You do a lot of motivational speaking at schools, as well as being a featured celebrity guest for the Peace Fund Games. Do you find your background as a cosplayer and former wrestler helps bridge the gap between yourself and the young people you're helping?
Yes. Also being a United States Marine, that plays a big part because what I do is, and I tell kids, you can be anything you want. I'm living proof. I'm a pro wrestler. I'm an actor. I'm a United States Marine. I'm a cosplayer. I'm a comic book character. 5 different things. And I work a 9 to 5. And I yet still be able to pursue my career and my life of what I love to do. Not too many people can say they can get up in the morning, go to work, come home, make sure the bills are paid, make sure the wife is happy, and go off and do a movie. Go off and be featured at a Comic-Con. I think for me, it's still surreal for me because I'm grounded. It's still surreal for me because I might be performing in a crowd of 3,000 to 5,000 people. Getting them cheering, having them all saying my name, whether it was a wrestling cosplay, Heroes of Cosplay, and then go back to my 9 to 5 as a regular mild-mannered employee. It does keep you humble. It keeps you balanced. It's almost like that Superman Clark Kent effect. It's like for Superman to identify with the humans of Earth, he had to become one of them by being mild-mannered and all that stuff. That's how I look at my life. Working a 9 to 5 is my way of trying to just make sure I stay grounded and stay able to relate to everyone around me, good, bad, or indifferent. But when I leave out of that job, I leave behind. When I get home, when my wife picks me up, when I meet up with her, when I go home, and I take that train home, when I get home, my dog sees me, I'm in my realm. I'm in the world of what I love to do. I get up, sleep, talk, walk, act, eat, everything, cosplay. So, again, that's everything, incorporate everything I love to do.
It definitely shows too. With your work in acting, directing, and obviously your huge involvement in the cosplay world, as well as inspiring the youth today in a positive way, what else can we expect to see from the smoke in the near future?
Well, I have a lot of projects coming up, along with cosplays. This year, I'm doing up to 30 cosplays. I've already done 11 so far. So I got like a little bit more to go. When I do my end of the year collage, you'll see all the cosplays I've done, from small to very big cosplays. I'm right now working currently on 3 different projects. My fan film series, Dread, The Deep End. I'm working alongside with Oliver Hemmendale from Sunny Mead Films and my production company, Together Brothers Productions. We're doing a series. His series is called The Cursed Edge. It's inspired from the Carl Urban series Dread, from the movie Dread. Basically, we've been shooting that. We're about to come up with episode 2. We filmed earlier this year. Also, I'm working alongside with Farragut Films, Starship Farragut and John Broughton. Dave Turner and I have collaborated and created a series called Trek Isolation. It's a new Star Trek series that takes place in the TOS era. We already just finished shooting Stan Lee. He's appearing in our series. We got a couple other celebrities we're going to be announcing at AC Boardwalk next weekend. It's going to be a major, major event. Also Monday, if you stay tuned, for those people that are watching the show in time, tune into the Trek Isolation fan page as well as the Starship Farragut fan page, and you'll see some of the big surprises that we got coming up at AC Boardwalk. I'm also working with Brian Terranova, who is known as one of the well-known Doctor Who lookalikes to David Tennant, the 10th Doctor. We have an ongoing Torchwood Doctor Who series called Legacy that BBC America has praised as the sequel to Torchwood. Right now we have that going on. So a lot of projects. I'm working with a lot of great people. A couple other things are coming down the pipe I can't talk about yet, but let's just say you'll be like, whoa. If you thought Heroes of Cosplay was something, you haven't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see what's coming next.
That's excellent stuff here. We're definitely looking forward to that. Mr. Moran, that's our interview. Thank you so much for joining us on The Cutting Edge and giving us a little bit of your time. And
thank you so much for having me. It's definitely an honor. Finally, for you and I to meet, because I've been a fan of your work. You do a dead-on blade. I love your blade, by the way. Thank you. And not alone, we look like we could favor each other like the clone troopers and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, it looks like you and I could be related. You never know. We could find out that we're related somewhere along the line. And I'm looking at you like, oh my God, it's like looking at one of my cousins or something. So that's awesome. But yeah, anytime you want me on the show, if you hear anything down the road, if anybody wants me to come down there, I'll be more than happy to come down. If you want to check out any of the things I'm doing, check out my fan page, The Smoke, or go to my other page, Eric Moran, is also under The Smoke. You can check out me on Instagram under The Smoke 007. You can check me out on Twitter, The Smoke 000. You can check me out on Together Brothers fan page on Facebook. You can also check me out as the head of the Philadelphia Power Rangers. I also have a prop page called The Armor Corps. You can check that out. I also have a legacy page. I have all these pages. The best way to do it, to find out what I'm up to, you go to, this is what you do, go to Google or Yahoo, type up Eric The Smoke Moran, and all the stuff will come up from images and everything, and you can find me in any way, shape, or form in those capacities as well, to make it easier for yourself.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be doing that if they didn't know that's how they could find you before. Again, Mr. Red, thank you so much for joining us on The Cutting Edge, and that's it for our interview.
All right.
All right.
We good?
So we're done.
Out there?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Moran. I'm going to get to editing this, and I'll leave you to your night.
Hey, just call me Smoke. You don't have to call me Mister. That's my dad is Mister. You just call me Smoke, man. Come on. I don't like being all formal like that. Like, yes, Mr. Moran. Yes. Yeah. Either call me Eric or Smoke. It doesn't matter, man.
Cool, man.
It doesn't.
Thank you again, Eric. It's been great.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Anytime you need help, if you need me to help find other cosplayers, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to reach out for you to help you out and getting them out on your show and stuff.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Smoke. You're the man, dude.
All right, let me know when you're ready with the link. I would love to post that up.
Indeed. I certainly will.
All right. Have a great one, man.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.